Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Gary here. This one's called Tree Disasters. Bruce called me last night. He goes, Gary, you got to come over tomorrow morning. Get over to my place around 8 o'clock. My neighbor has hired these cut-rate hillbillies to take down his oak tree in his front yard. You got to come over to see this. All I saw was my neighbor talking to the boss of this crew. It looks like to be the owner. And he was a hilljack, total hillbilly. And he said he'll be here first thing on Monday morning to take down this tree. And the tree, Bruce, when I got there, so I said, okay, I'll be there. So I went out there to see Bruce. We're hanging out on his porch, having a cup of coffee, watching this shit show. We got there. I got over at his house at 8 o'clock sharp this morning. I just got home. Just this minute, just got home. And we're waiting for the crew. And all of a sudden we hear, I'm sitting there visiting with Bruce, and now it's like 8:15, and we hear this mufflerless truck coming down this road, and he lives on a nice street, right? And you can hear this thing slowing down. It looks like a late model 70s model Ford truck with a big trailer off the back of it, like one of these landscaper trailers, and it was rusted out. You can see around the bottom of the floorboards near the wheels, the truck's rusted out. And there's three guys in the front seat of this truck. And they all get out, and they got these all got sweatshirts on. One guy had a t-shirt on, and the father, he's walking over, and you can see they got chaw in their mouth. They got chewing tobacco, spitting and shit. And they walk out in the yard. The three of them are walking out in the yard. They don't have any ladders in the back of this truck, mind you. The whole time, Bruce is filming on his phone because there's no one home. The neighbor isn't home. He's at work. His wife is at work. And on the street, most people are working class. Bruce works from home. So they're walking up, then they're looking at the tree, and they're talking to his boys. And we can't hear what they're talking about because they're talking at a regular tone, like I'm talking to you right now. And then all of a sudden, the father turns, and he sees us. And he waves over and says hi to us. Morning, guys. I said, morning. Hey, we're going to take down this here tree. It's going to be a little bit last for a while, but hey, we'll get it down here. We're going to probably be out here for maybe an hour best. We'll be done in about an hour. What I got from that is that he's going to be out here for about an hour best. It'd be about an hour. That's what I caught from it. And the two sons, I could tell they were sons because he called one Junior and one Wyatt. I'm assuming Wyatt was one of his boys. I don't know. But the side of the truck, it was a green truck, and along the side it had white stencil lettering, and it said, work done cheap. Work, W-E-R-K. They had to have either misspelled it because they didn't go to school. They never graduated 8th grade. Or they did it to catch someone's attention. Work done cheap. For estimates, call, and the number. FIR, F-I-R. Either that's how they spelled, or they did it to get attention. Because it got my attention. It got Bruce's attention. I said, you see this shit? So moving forward, they don't have, like I said, they didn't have any ladders. You need ladders if you're going to be an arborist, right? Person climbing up in a tree is going to have a ladder, right? No ladders. They had rakes. Wyatt and Junior had a rake. They each had one of these metal rakes. And they pull out and they lay the rakes down right at the base of the tree. Then their father comes over with the chainsaw now. And he has a chainsaw with a nylon rope tied to the edge, tied to the bottom of the chainsaw handle. And he loops the chainsaw handle over his back. So now the chainsaw is hanging off of his back. I shit you not. This was hilarious. I'm watching the whole show. The father says, Wyatt, go down over here and give me a shimmy. And you know how that is where you put your hand like this. Make shimmy. I'm going to shimmy up this here tree. I'm going to go about 30 feet, 40 feet. I can climb this thing. Ain't no problem. I'm going to climb it. So I'm assuming that's what they do. Most professional arborists going to have a ladder. Or they're going to have a crane. Most arborists I've ever seen, they have a crane that will lift the person up. Not these clowns. Not these hillbillies. And mind you, all toothless. Not a tooth in there. They're just gumming the fucking, hey, talking like this. Why? Junior, get over there. Get them ropes. That's all right. I got 2 ropes hanging off there. And when I'm going to walk and get up the top of this tree, I'm going to tether that rope about 5-6 feet ahead of me, on top of me, and then lay down the lawn with 2 ropes for you guys to get them out there in the yard. And when you hear this tree limb start to crack, you pull it away from me. You pull it down and away. Down and away. You guys, we've been doing this a long time. You know the drill. I'm catching all this, right? So here's the house, here's the tree, and over here's Wyatt and Junior with ropes. Now, I can't see where Wyatt is. I mean, I can see where he is. You couldn't see where the dad was because now he had shimmied up this tree. Shimmied up this tree. And he's behind all the branches and all the leaves on the tree. And you couldn't see him, but you could hear him, right? Grunting and climbing and grunting and climbing. And then Junior is closer to where Bruce's yard meets up with his neighbor's yard. And he's got a rope in one hand, lightly gripped, and in this hand he's playing on his phone. He's scrolling on his phone, Junior. Doing this on his phone. And all of a sudden you hear the chainsaw start. Vroom, vroom. Now, Daddy, he's starting to rip up some limbs, and you can see small limbs falling, tiny little branches, not big limbs, but tiny branches falling to get out of the way of what he's doing up there, because he's a professional. Work, W-E-R-K, done cheap. So he's up there, and all of a sudden you hear Wyatt yelling, "Junior, Junior, get off your goddamn phone! Daddy's getting ready to knock off the big branch, Junior." Junior, get off your fucking phone. Grab a hold of that rope. Junior. Junior. That's Wyatt yelling at his brother. Daddy's up there in the tree. You can hear the chainsaw full bore. And Bruce is filming the whole thing. Now you can see the top limb. Now, he's halfway up the tree. Most professional arborists, when they're cutting a tree down, they're doing it in sections. Branch by branch, giant limb by giant limb, or in thirds or in fourths. That's how they do it. These clowns, this guy was going to go half the tree there, and then we'll worry about the rest in the bottom. So you can see the tree, you can hear it cracking. You can hear it start to crack, and you can see it start to teeter down towards the yard where they wanted it to fall. Well, Wyatt's over here with his rope, and he's pulling. He's pulling as hard as he can. Junior is on his fucking phone, and he's got his rope here hanging on his, and why? Hold on a minute. Puts the phone in the back of his pocket. And as he's yelling Wyatt and pulling the phone back in his pocket, you can hear the branch give way. The top of the tree give way. And you hear Daddy up there go, "Oh, pull, boy, pull, go on, boy, pull it, God damn it." The limb is going in Wyatt's direction. Junior now is late on the game, holding the rope and pulling with no gloves on. Junior has no gloves on, so now it's ripping through his hands. He goes, "Ah!" He's burning his hands from rope burns. The limb is going over towards where? The neighbor's driveway. And proceeds to crash over the neighbor's driveway. Bruce got it all on film. He got it all on he recorded the whole thing. So he could show his neighbor what he did. The neighbor's driveway was maybe, I don't know, you tell how wide a driveway is. But they planted these nice shrubs along one side of the driveway with flowers. They were all wasted. When that thing went down, that half of that tree was probably, from where he was cutting, that half of the tree was probably 35, 40 feet long. A big hunk of wood, right? And a diameter easily like this. A big hunk of tree. And it's down. Now you see Pappy up there, and he's looking down, and he's losing his shit. Because he sees the limb has crossed over onto the driveway. He looks over, he sees Junior rubbing his hand. "Dad, I burned my finger, my hand's all burnt, it just burnt." And he's doing this, you can see blood coming off the palm of his hand from the burn from the nylon rope. because he didn't have gloves on. Where were the gloves, everybody? The gloves were in his back pocket. You could see him hanging in his back pocket, but they weren't on his hands because he wanted to play on his fucking phone. Work done cheap. Call FIR estimates, FIR. Oh, yeah. So now Pappy is shimmying down the tree, and he's so pissed off, he loses his composure, and the chainsaw that is now off falls ahead of him and comes crashing down on the ground. And now they're fucked because he did something to the chainsaw. He bent it somehow. He gets down there. He's trying to pull the rope to the starter, the pull start, and it won't pull. He done broke it. He done broke the chainsaw. Now I'm thinking, I said to Bruce, I hope he has another chainsaw in the back of that truck. Work done. Call FIR estimates. I hope he's got another chainsaw in the back of that truck. They didn't have another chainsaw back in that truck. I know this because he said, why? We got to get some ropes. We got to pull this limb over here. We got to get it off that neighbor's driveway. There's something wrong with this chainsaw. It ain't working. We're going to have to go back to how? We have to go back to... I'm not going to say where in Kentucky they're from. Not going to go there. We got to go back home this afternoon and get another chainsaw. This one I think is on the fritz. It's broken anyway. Something wrong with it. I know something broke with it. And then Junior goes, no, Daddy, I saw you drop it from the tree. It fell from the tree. It fell from the tree, Pappy. You shut the fuck up. You're no help, motherfucker. This wouldn't have been a problem if you were off your fucking phone. This was going on. Now we have a family affair going on with hillbillies. And they're talking so fast and spitting while they're talking. And they're talking so fast, we couldn't understand what they were saying. You know, if you haven't been to Kentucky, in the hollers of Kentucky, or anywhere in there, because I've been to some of these hollers in Kentucky, you can't understand. It's a whole different language. It's not English. It's hillbilly. It's redneck. And they're screaming at each other. Instead, they should be working together with rakes and handsaws to get that limb off that guy's property. So they're heaving and hoeing. They can't get it. How far are we going on this? 12 minutes. This is going to be a two-parter because I can't do the whole thing. I got things I got to do today. I apologize for that. But anyway, so they couldn't move that limb. It probably had to weigh several hundred pounds. The whole top of the tree. It was huge. All right, like I said, the diameter when we were on the front porch, Bruce and I were looking at it. The diameter was at least this big around in diameter. I don't know what that is. It was a big hunk of branch, and it was about 30 feet long with limbs hanging all over it, branches and limbs, and they're heaving and hoeing. They're grabbing it and they're trying to pull it. Come on, Junior, put some muscle into it, you pussy. Oh, Daddy, I can't pull it. My hands are bloody from the rope. And this was going on. It was a fucking in living color shit show. So the guy comes over to Bruce and he goes, sir, I got a question to ask you. And it's going to be, I just got to ask you a question. Bruce goes, yeah, what's on your mind? He goes, hey, you see, we got a problem over here. I'm going to have to tie a rope to the front bumper of my truck, and I got to find a way to pull it this way towards you. Would you mind very much if I pulled my truck up in your front yard and pulled it a little ways? I mean, I don't think I'll hurt your yard. And Bruce goes, absolutely fucking not. Your truck will not go on my yard. And Bruce is a stickler for his yard. His yard is perfect. No, you're going to have to find another way to do it. Well, I'm kind of screwed right here. You can see would you guys mind coming off your porch and helping us pull this tree? I'd really appreciate it. I'd be obliged. And I sat back. I said, look, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm enjoying the show, quite frankly. That's what I said. But I'm not helping you. There ain't no fucking way. I said, you guys got insurance? And the guy said, Bruce, we ain't got no insurance. We don't do that shit. We're quality workmanship here. Quality. So he walks back and he's got his hat off and he's scratching his head. What we gonna do, boys? Wyatt, We gotta get some. We gotta call some of the boys back in the town. We gotta get them out here today. We're gonna have to call these other people that we are supposed to do some work for. We gotta get this limb off this guy's goddamn driveway. Junior, you piece of shit. You are a piece of shit. You are your mother's son. You know that, you piece of shit. And they're going back and forth screaming at each other when they should be trying to pull this fight. And there's no way the three of those guys were getting that limb off that driveway. That's part one. I got to get going. I got things I got to do. I'm gonna continue this probably later on today. If not, well, it's only 11:45. I'll continue this later today for a part two, but I got to get going. I apologize, but that's part one of part two. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch up to you later with the second part. Peace out.